Hello and welcome back to another Hot Takes with Kari and Keelan. This is episode number 18. I'm Kari Rae Davis with Kari Sells the City.
And I'm Keelan Harvey with the Harvey Home Team.
So, Keelan, I know that there was some news with the CPI report that came out this week and Fed and what they're intending to do with rates. So, I wanted to get your input on what you thought.
Yeah, tough day for mortgage rates this week. We had the consumer price index report come out, and inflationary news is not good for mortgage rates. In fact, the arch enemy of mortgage rates is inflation, because mortgages are bonds, and they have a fixed rate of return. So if money's going to be worth less in the future, they don't like that. So the only way
Right.
to compensate is to, increase rates. So, anyways, long story short, we ended up losing 88 basis points in a day, almost a full 1%.
Wow. Okay. And so that is almost because you said 100 basis points would equal a full percentage. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
So 88 basis points, almost there. It was really, really, unfortunately, rough day. Comprised of the main culprits were shelter cost. Car insurance was way up. It was 2.6% month over month, 22% year over year. I haven't had to renew anytime soon, so I haven't felt that, but it sounds like it's expensive. And then also a little bit of energy costs that all contributed to it, unfortunately.
Well, I know that I saw my insurance rates went up for my homeowner's insurance and my car insurance this year. So I'm feeling that crunch myself.
Yeah, it's on a bit of a tear, it seems like. It's not getting cheap. 22% year over year. That's a huge number.
Yeah. Well, and
So,
it's just I feel that, we've talked about this that, some people are really struggling out there and need a little relief. And when you just keep seeing all of our expenses going up, it's just I was hoping that we would be hearing that the Fed would be, doing a rate cut for all of us because I feel like we're all just, we all need it, I feel.
yeah, we're in an interesting spot right now because the data's coming out on surface seems strong. Jobs reports seem strong. Inflation, things of this nature. The CPI coming out, but the reality is things are not as great as they appear. The jobs reports coming out is all hospitality, second jobs. There's some government jobs in there. But these aren't indicate and actually if it's a part-time job, even though it's a part-time job, they're still counted as a full-time job. So
Are
the
they?
headline numbers
Mm.
coming out strong, and then they're revising these down after the fact, but the damage is already done with the headline. And there's a lagging effect on shelter cost. This leases are usually 12 months, so it doesn't really indicate where really is, and it's
Sure.
such a big weight on the CPI and the consumer price index. And I don't know about you guys, but shoot, I can feel it. I mean, it's rough just because inflation, inflation's going up. It's gone down from where it was. It was at like 9.1%. Now it's like three and some change. But
Okay.
that just means that
It's still
prices are still
increasing.
going up. Yeah, I mean,
Right.
we're up like 30% on goods. Like, and
Right.
what's it going to take? The whole point of this is the Fed trying to slow down the economy, and I feel like we can all really, really feel it. So it's the question is like, how much do we have to run out of money? And the reality is, it's either going to be like a bad, we need some job reports that aren't coming out as good,
Hmm.
and or like running out of money. But savings is all-time low, credit card debt's high, buy now, pay later, 33% of adults used it last year. I mean, underneath the surface, my point is it's fragile.
Right.
And and because it's been perpetuated this long, because of this report, they're talking about they're talking about three decreases, the Fed decreasing rates. First one was supposed to be in March, that's been kind of kicked to the curb, and then
Right.
May, and now there's a small percentage in June. And they're even talking about now maybe only two Fed cuts this year at 25 basis points. So, you
Not a
know,
lot. That's not a lot. That's
not a
not what we were
lot.
hoping for.
No, but it makes me wonder, there's an election coming up, right? And we have short memories. So the market is clearly emotional for what we
Hmm.
lost in the CPI report, or the damage of CPI is point 359, and then we
Okay.
lose 88 basis points. So it feels like the market's very emotional, and
Right.
any news and data coming out, it's volatile, it's reacting, and I think the Fed knows that, and even them talking about what they're going to do, that alone has really influenced where rates are going to go. So I'm wondering when they do a cut, if the market's not going to react for our benefit, right?
Right.
Rates aren't going to come down pretty significantly, even though there's less cuts, you know?
Right. Well, and we have to have some time to adjust to these numbers too. I mean, I feel that, they've kept rates where they're at, or they're not, lowering them, and we're feeling the repercussions. I mean, I feel like it takes a couple months for us to catch back up to their forecast. So, I mean, it would be wonderful to feel a little bit of relief. I know for us in real estate, I feel that, when rates, did come down a little bit at the beginning of the year, we saw what that looked like because we were seeing multiple offers coming in on homes. And I still think that if your home is priced right and it's attractive, you're still probably garnering multiple offers. But I do think that with interest rates kind of hovering where they have been at these past couple weeks, a little higher than you mentioned that they were kind of back to November rates. I think we see that on our end as brokers, where there's not as many people looking at homes right now because of that small little, that small tidbit of information where rates just really haven't come down to a more comfortable place for people.
Yeah, it's interesting you bring that up. It's almost like consumers have like a main vein into rates. It's really weird because because it's just naturally it slows down. When we had that nice little improvement in rates, it was busy, and
It
it
was
continued to be
busy.
busy. Yeah, we were seeing, a lot of activity. And I would say activity is still up, especially I mean, rates back in October were above 8%, right? So
Right,
these rates where we're at now, including losing the 88 basis points, puts us back to like the end of November. So we're still in a better place, but we're kind of in this weird equilibrium, right? Where we're just kind
right.
of floating up, floating down. And,
Well, and
you know,
I think that the people that are serious about home ownership, I don't think that this conversation affects them as much. I mean, granted, yes, you might not be able to get a home for what you could have 2 years ago because, with interest rates rising, your buying power has been diminished. But I feel that, people want to be homeowners and that they're going to get used to these interest rates. I mean, eventually the shock is going to come off and you're going to have to just recast your view on it to make sure that your expectations aren't exceeding really what reality is. And I do think that people are going to get off of this weird seesaw that we're on and just make a move when it's right for them, because you can't time things perfectly. I mean, sometimes you have to sell or you have to buy, or it's just the right opportunity for you as a person. So
well, and the story hasn't changed. I mean, the reality is getting into a home now is going to cost you less than it is in the future.
right,
Us
because
using
prices
88
haven't
base
come down.
Yeah, prices haven't come down, and if they didn't come down last year in the face of 8% interest rates, they're not coming down anytime soon. I don't know what it'd have to take, but there's people that were still buying homes then, and I feel like a lot of people have gotten used to kind of where we're at. I just feel bad for the people sitting on the wayside and just, a year or
I'm
two
gonna
from
wait for
now.
prices to come down. It's like,
Yeah, it's not
don't
how
do
it's gonna
that.
work,
Right,
because as rates go down, which they are eventually gonna come down, and when rates go down, there's a huge demand, there's very little supply. So what do you think is gonna happen? There's nowhere near enough
competition.
building. Yeah, competition, nowhere near enough building. That's just gonna make prices go up even more. So,
Well, and I feel like
you
the
know,
building side of things, and you may know this better than I because you deal directly with, new construction builders, but building isn't as hot as it was. Like that has
no,
slowed down on for in my purview.
especially greater Seattle, there's just nowhere to build, really. You know what I mean? You'd have to go out to like the outskirts, like Eastern
Auburn,
Washington, yeah, or like,
right,
farther out before you're gonna see some of that build. In the like a year ago, a couple of years ago, there was a bit of a builder friendly frenzy in a lot of states, and some of these builders got out over their skis in certain areas and built too much, and then they had to sop that back up. But like in the Seattle area, that's not even a thing. They're so far behind, and there's still a huge supply and demand issue.
right.
So by nowhere near are we at a normal market with inventory. So
Well, and I'm afraid that their inventory is going to remain tight while interest rates are high because people that are in those low 2 to 3%, rates for their homes are having a hard time digesting the fact that if they want to move, they're going to have to pay a higher percentage. So
Yeah, I find that
hopefully,
interesting. I mean, if you could afford it though, you're gonna buy in the market you sell in, right?
true,
So,
true.
and if you price your house right, I mean, we just had one last week. It was 1.185 million. This was North Seattle, unique
Okay.
to area specific, 1.185. We did 100,000 earnest money, wave financing, 2 week close. I mean, we got aggressive as we could. Went up to
$100,000 earnest money.
$100,000 earnest money,
Wow.
went up to 1.4 million. It sold for 1.425. We lost out. I didn't hear about more offers after 12, but I'm sure there was a few more, but significant amount of offers. So I mean, that house started at 1.185, went to, I mean, that's a significant amount of money now you have to go back out in the market. I'm pretty sure that would sop up the interest rate on the new purchase that you're doing. You know
Right.
what I mean? So situation's boss. I would not take it off the table to list your home at this point. Because it is, if you price it right, it's still a seller's market.
Right. No, I agree with that. One thing I'm curious though is, I'll be curious for us to keep this conversation going because I want to hear from you and I want to talk to you about this, later on as interest rates either stay or come down or whatnot. But if they stay kind of high, I wonder if, seller credits might be coming back. I think it depends on if offers aren't being made on a home and there needs to be an incentive for a buyer. Because I know we were having this conversation with our clients, at the end of last year, and then when the season changed at the beginning of the year and it was competitive again, those conversations fell to the wayside. So,
That's a valuable point. It's interesting. And I don't know where the tipping point is, right? We went from like getting seller credits on everything to all of a sudden like doesn't exist, like bidding way over ask, multiple offers. I still feel like we're in multiple offer situation on the situations that I've been in personally with my
yep,
customers.
yep.
But if rates go up higher, who knows? I don't know. Maybe there's a tipping point there, and it's probably around 8% where where
Right.
where
Well, it'll
everyone's
be
like,
curious to see too, just because we're kind of, we're treading water in this area, these ranges, and it'll be interesting to see because I do have people that are buying right now, and I've got a couple that you and I've worked with that really did want to take advantage of those seller credits, and it's like, well, maybe that might happen still. We don't know. Like everything
yeah.
changes like weekly. I feel like you just never know. That's why it's important to talk to professionals that are in the markets that you're in because they can help guide you and give you advice.
Absolutely. And I probably should, that I imagine some people, when you say 88 basis points, are freaking out about like, oh my gosh, like what happened? I would say if you're out house shopping right now and it's not a make or break situation, I don't think you wouldn't buy a house because of 88 basis points in difference. You know what I mean? Now granted, if go check with your lender because your payments have probably gone up a bit, but
Right.
I don't think enough to where you're like, you know what, I'm completely out of the market now.
Well, and this is another thing that I want to touch on because you and I spoke about this earlier today as we were prepping. I think that's another reason why it's super important to make sure you're talking to a local lender that's in your market, that's working with agents that are actively working your market because Keelan, you and I talked about this. Like, if you go with like a 1-800 lender and you don't realize that, they probably haven't talked to you about locking in your loan and how much it costs, that with these percentage increases, you could end up in a position where you get into a home and maybe you can't afford the payment anymore.
Yeah, I don't worry about the people that are house shopping, but I really worry about those people that are in contract and you're putting all of your faith, and I'm talking significant amount of money, all of that faith into that lender. And if you talk to the 1-800 guy, or if you work at a bank, you could be a teller one week and then you could do mortgages next week. It's not their fault. It's just there's an education and a scar tissue of decades of experience to
Right.
understand. And me being previously a financial advisor, I nerd out on this stuff. But do you think that that teller or that 1-800 guy knows what a CPI report is and how inflation affects
And now it's
mortgage rates?
affecting.
Or when that CPI report's going to come out and how it's going to be. So it went by as like a not even a bump in the road for my customers, because not only did I understand when the report's coming out, I understood that it's not likely going to be good, so we locked beforehand. But
Right.
if you're in contract and you didn't lock, there's a lot of people that woke up this week to um sir, your payments two, three, $400 more a month, or sir, you have to bring in 10,000 or five,
Or
10, $15,000 more cash to close that maybe you didn't have. And by
right.
all means, you know, for me, expectations are extremely important. And so I'm very protective of what we talk about is what I'm going to deliver on.
Right.
So I mean, I would hate to be the person that has those conversations of like, hey, Mr.
By the
Buy,
way,
yeah, just kidding. You got 15 more grand. And I mean, worst case scenario, some of these people don't even qualify anymore. There's debt to income ratios, right? So
right.
if your debt to income ratio is tight and the interest rate goes up, now it doesn't even debt out. So you won't even qualify at all. And I mean, it's hard enough to get in contract right now. That would
Right.
be devastating to get into contract and get that news. So, you
Well,
know,
and what happens if you may have waived financing?
oh boy.
Then
Well, now
you're
you're
in
going to lose your
trouble.
earnest money.
Yeah.
That's the one piece is like, it's not over till it's over. And
Yeah, your
there's,
closing does not happen until like we do not count it as closed until like the deal is completely done because things happen.
yeah, I mean, who you work with is so incredibly important. There's so many details that are overlooked because as consumers, we're meant to just go shop rate, right? And it's broken down to the simplest thing ever. Just shop rate, shop rate, shop rate. And that's the dumbest idea ever because there's different levels of knowledge, understanding, and how your transaction's gonna go. I don't know of any customer we've ever had that I've asked them, like, could you imagine doing this with somebody that's only there from 8 to 5? And they're like, it would have been there's no way. It wouldn't
No,
have happened. It wouldn't have happened.
no, no.
No.
I won't. I wouldn't work with a lender that only worked from 8 to 5 because I work from 8 to midnight,
Yeah.
depending
And
on the day.
how many things come up? I mean, I don't remember a transaction I've ever had where something didn't come up out of hours. Like,
Well, I mean, if we're working on the file and things are moving forward and we've got deadlines, people aren't just walking away from their desk because it's 5 o'clock. They're finishing their file. And
yeah,
that's why another reason why it's so important to work and know who you're working with when it comes to your lending team. And that's something that when I'm the listing agent and I'm reviewing offers, I definitely ask the lenders when I have that conversation is where is your team at? Where
mhm.
is your underwriting done? Because if it's done in the Midwest or they're on Central Time or East Coast time and they're done 3 hours before we are, well, we're working a lot between 3 and 7, 3 and 6.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah, and I mean, and also right now, it's so competitive. If the good houses that are priced well are competitive.
right,
And every deal that I've had accepted this whole year has been a very short close with wave financing. And
right,
your bank and your 1-800 guy, you just can't put all those eggs in that basket. You'd be
right,
crazy. It'd be like Russian roulette with a bunch of your money to wave financing with somebody like that. Most banks won't do it even if you tried, and they're definitely not closing your loan in 2 weeks or 20 days. I mean,
right.
how many transactions have we had this year, Carrie, that are short closes, and that's the only reason why we got it and wave
Right.
financing?
Yep. I mean, we've got two on the books so far. We've got more in the works, but and I did put your feet to the fire. I thought
Yeah.
maybe you might want to strangle me at one point, but I kind of laughed about it a little bit because I know you could do it.
We had I
I
have to
trust you
say,
guys.
we had, and just negotiations fall where they fall, right? So we were negotiating at the end of the week, and And so we did a 2 week close, but by the time it got signed around and everything, and you tried
It
your
wasn't
best
two
to
weeks
get it
anymore.
done, it wasn't 2 weeks anymore. I got it on a Monday, which is like literally, I think it was the 18th, and we had 10 days to
Yeah,
close, and we
a
did
little
it.
less than.
A
Yeah,
little less than, and there were some hiccups along the road, with not us on the
seller
listing
side.
side. Yeah,
Yeah.
there was some CC&R stuff and some funky legal documentation, verbiage and things that needed to get fixed, that really left some holes, some gray area per se that we needed to work through and have them
Right.
fixed. Which we probably lost 2 days on that. So I mean,
But
not to toot
still,
my
you
horn.
guys did it. I mean, everybody was happy, and that's just that's a successful transaction. That everything's okay. People are happy at the end of it. So
Shout out to the Harvey Home Team, killed it.
that's right.
I'm talking like 6 day close, like something ridiculous. So but we did it.
Well,
So
and you know, and that was good for me too, because not everything is cut and dry, right? Like we might be able to perform on our end when it comes to a quick closing timeline, but the seller and the listing team also have to have everything ready and everything ready to go. So, um, you know, those are things to consider. So putting an offer together, you know, making sure you're talking to the listing team and asking good questions. And even if you think you're doing everything, sometimes things pop up. So that was just, you know, that was part, you know, our experience on this. I mean, we got it done, but it definitely, there was a lot of, you guys did the extra mile on that one. So,
yeah, there's not much you can do about it. There's always going to be pieces that are out of your control, appraisals, things of that nature. We build that in there, even in our 2 week closes. Like really, we're
right.
doing 10 day closes, with an extra couple days in case something funky comes up. But we have a appraisal management company, that's managed in-house, which makes a huge difference on getting our appraisals back quicker. And our
Okay.
appraisers get compensated more because there's no third-party appraisal management company in between.
Okay.
So we're built. This isn't just magic. We're built to do this.
What?
We're
It's
built
not
to
just
perform.
magic.
Yeah, it feels unicorn sometimes, but like there's a lot of thought, and we're built to be able to do that.
Right.
Um, I would not tell you to go out and do that with any other lender. I would not just say, "Oh, Keelan said I can do a 2 week close." In fact, the lender might laugh at you, because some of these guys won't even like bat an eye at anything under 30 days.
Right. Well, and
So,
that's where your lending team is so important because when you're trying to stand out in a competitive situation, you know, you can sometimes not be the highest price, but if you've got a good team that it's going to close early, you know, these are all levers that you can pull as you're putting an offer together. So you want to make sure you're working with, you know, the A team, not the Z team.
and believe it or not, that's not even the most competitive. We also have a cash offer program. I figured good time to announce that. We
Yes,
have a
yeah,
cash
tell us
offer
about that.
program where literally your offer's cash. So no more losing out on cash deals. Now your offer is cash. And
Okay.
those are closing in like 10 days tops, because cash deals 3 days to 10 days, 3 to 7, somewhere in there.
Right. Well, title
Um,
title and escrow still have to do their jobs, right? I mean,
yeah.
that's part of the timeline is it's not just the lenders, you've got title and you've got escrow also having to make sure that everything's done properly. So,
Yeah, so it's a full legit cash offer that we're paying cash to the sellers, and so that's about as competitive as you can get.
and what are
So
the costs associated with that, Keelan?
there's 2 points.
Okay.
So, but you know what? Reduce your down payment by 2 points. You're buying $1 million house. Reduce your down payment by the 2 points. So on $1 million, it'd be $20,000. But I mean, if we're talking about, might seem crazy for some people, but if we're talking about like 100,000 earnest money, $1.4 million purchase price with 25% down, 20 grand's a drop in the bucket, or offer 20,000 less on the purchase price. And guess what? You can do that when you're offering cash. You're
Right.
gonna get you're gonna be able to offer less and get your offer accepted with cash, as opposed to
Hopefully.
financing.
Maybe not,
Hopefully.
but right.
What do you think? I mean, I would say at $1 million cash would be worth at least a $20,000, right? Don't you think?
Yeah, I mean,
As far as the power of the offer itself.
I think it depends on the seller. I mean, I know that I won out earlier with a cash transaction and we were not the highest price and we were probably about $25,000 under what the top agent or the top offer was, but they really liked me, which was great. I mean, that was a selling point, is they felt comfortable knowing that I would get the job done. And I really communicated really, really well with them, where I was let them know, like, if there was ever anything that we could do to make our offer look better, please let me know. And they did come back and say, hey, if you can get up into this ballpark range, I think we could have a deal. And so I talked with my buyer, and he was willing to do, the ballpark of what they asked for. And that was enough for them to show that we were the right offer. And so we did save a little bit of money. There's another transaction I had where, we lost out by cash, even though we were the highest offer and we would have closed faster, which was very irritating to me, because we waived financing. We were a cash offer, and they ended up liking the allure and like the impression that cash leaves on people. They just think, oh, they're so excited to get a cash offer, even though our financed offer was just as good, and they would have gotten more money if they'd chosen our offer. So it
And
just depends.
that just reiterates the point, right? That's cash program. It's just got an allure to the cash sometimes. And so that's
The
another tool in their
word,
tool belt. Yeah, just cash.
the
They're like, oh, it's
cash.
cash money,
Yeah,
like, but on the flip side, you're not going to get any more competitive or quicker on the financing side than what we're doing, and that doesn't
right.
cost you anything. All that is you're just working with me, and it doesn't cost you anything to do that. So you have the free version, but in those instances, the cash, we could do that too.
Right. Well, I
It's
think
not going to be
that's
right for
great.
everybody. It's not going to be
Well, and
right for
are there
everybody.
any other requirements that you have to have, like a certain credit score? Or is there anything that goes along with that of whether
Yeah,
a
you're gonna
client?
definitely need to be well qualified if they're gonna
Okay,
be throwing that out there, right? So that's not gonna be right for everybody. And if that's not an option for you, totally not the end of the world, right? We get
sure,
offers, actually the cash offers, there's only a few people that offer that in the entire country, as a program that we do. So it's not the end of the world. But yeah, you're definitely gonna want to be well qualified. There's some more work on the front end. Like we got to make sure we go through a full process on the front end.
sure.
So now it's already done. So we're just offering cash.
Got it. Well, I
Yeah,
think
there's
that's
some more
great
work.
news. That's a
Heck
great
yeah.
option for people. I can't wait to be able to share that with everybody, Keelan.
Yeah, pretty excited about it. And I'm interested. I'm just interested in how it's gonna land. Like there's gonna be some wins because of this cash.
Yeah.
And
Well,
those are exciting.
I like the fact that the company that you work for is really big about being nimble and trying to come up with program solutions that are going to make it work for people. And that's what I like about working with you at Highlands, is that they care and they want to try and make it a win-win for people, and they're going to try and come up with these programs to make it so if it's a little bit harder for client to purchase, what can you do to make your client stand out? So appreciate
Yeah, thank you for noticing. Like, I'm very, very proud because the people that I work with at the highest level did what I do or continue to do what I do. So they know the problems in the marketplace and how we can
it.
solve those way ahead of time. I mean, I was talking about these buy down programs like years ago,
Way
like
before.
way before
Yeah,
anybody was talking about them. Then all of a sudden, I was like, this is going to be big. And then all of a sudden, it's like, oh, buy downs everywhere. And you're like, we've been talking about this for a long time. So
yeah,
it's really about the foresight of what we know is going to happen in the market and solving for that. And right now, the solve is multiple offers on properties. Cash is king. How can we give our customers the best opportunity to win deals? And there's two ways to do that. That's going to be a super fast close with wave financing. And I mean, if you want to go one step further, it'd be cash.
right. Well,
Yeah.
and having education, that's the biggest part, is making sure you're educated. So if you are interested in learning more about purchasing a home for the first time, or if you're getting back into the market and you want to know more about what it takes to buy in our current market, Keelan and I are doing a spring home buyer class. We're going to do this by Zoom this time, and it is going to be the 30th of April, which is a Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. So we are going to be advertising that here in the next day or so. And if anybody's curious and would like to learn more, we'd love to have you join us.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Just sit down and learn. There's going to be a lot of information there and it doesn't cost you anything.
Right.
I promise you will leave that with feeling a whole different level of knowledge and understanding than before you came in.
Right. And the people that attended our homebuyer class last time, they were so grateful that they attended. So it really is good information. We just want to make sure people have the information they need to in order to get started and just kind of demystify the process so it's not so scary. So if you are interested and would like to talk to Keelan and I for more further, then just go ahead and reach out to us. You can reach me at 206-330-6985.
And you can get me at 206-321-4941.
Awesome. Well, Keelan, I am looking forward to seeing how our conversations progress through the summer.
Me too. Me too. This is big time. This is all interesting times in the market. So,
Right. So stay tuned, everybody.
all
Have a good
right.
day.
See you, everybody.
Bye.